I'm Juanta Griffin. I'm the Oak Park Public Library Multicultural Learning Coordinator. I am now reading the Proclamation of Juneteenth. Whereas on June 19th, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger landed at Galveston, Texas, with news that the American Civil War had ended. 2.5 years prior, with the signing of President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, that the enslaved are now free. And whereas Texas was the last to accept an equality of rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that of employer and hired laborer. And whereas many former slaves left the plantations of Texas to embrace freedom and seek out family in Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, whereas settling into these new areas as free men and women brought on new realities and the challenges of establishing a heretofore non-existent status for Black people in America, for President Lincoln's successor, Andrew Johnson, overturned the order that had provided 40,000 freed men with 400,000 acres of land entitled to them, and provided it to the very planters that had declared war on the United States prior. And whereas recounting the memories of that great day on June of 1865 would serve as motivation as well as a release from the growing pressures encountered in their new territory. And whereas the celebration of June 19th was coined Juneteenth as a celebration for reassuring each other, for praying, for recounting the past, and for some an annual pilgrimage back to Galveston for that date. And whereas Juneteenth today celebrates Black freedom and achievement, as it takes on a more national, symbolic, and even global perspective, the events of 1865 in Texas are not forgotten, for all roots tied to that fertile soil from which a national day of pride is growing. Be it resolved that the village of Oak Park supports the celebration of Juneteenth both financially and in spirit from this day forward. Respect and appreciation for all differences grow from exposure and working together. And now, therefore, on behalf of Anan Abu Taleb, President of the Village of Oak Park and Board of Trustees, do I hereby proclaim that the Village of Oak Park shall recognize June 19th, 2020, and each year thereafter on the 19th of June as Juneteenth, approved and adopted this 15th day of June, 2020.